I was in the process of starting my chat that whole fucking... I was in the process of starting my fucking live stream during that one. Next one we'll get a dub. I'm turning on all my hacks.
Okay, make sure you tell me what was too bad.
What?
I know you got them.
What's that? What'd you say?
Oh, nothing.
Okay. I thought so.
Drinking monster, smoking crack.
Drinking monster, smoking... I'd probably give you a fucking heart attack, to be honest. Caffeine. Right to the fucking penis tip. Okay, what do we got here? What do we got?
Check weapons and gear. You got time before deployment. Enemy soldier nearby.
It's that VPN bullshit.
Under fire.
Hey, yo.
Oh, my dog's barking.
Enemy soldier nearby.
Might just have to research. I don't know why.
Damn, Kelly, missed it. You missed my heart I made you, Kelly. Get wrecked, pussy.
Hostiles dropping into the area. Watch the skies. Got me sighted. Taking fire.
You suck. Good job. You teabagged me. we go.
Training's over. Time to see what you've learned.
Here's our VPN drop. We got one motherfucking buy on the map, and we got fucking holy fuck.
Research. Get to the post.
Guys, push it up, push it up, push it up, push it up. Where we going?
Right here where it's marked.
Oh, okay. We got loadout money, let's go, baby.
Fuck yeah, VPN lobby for the win.
Got a loadout drop inbound.
So Purple, you don't want to get loadout?
I got loadout.
I know, you just ran off. I dropped my money for you.
Oh, I got plenty of money.
Me too.
Allied UAV
No, it's saying that. Never mind. Yo, let's wait till somebody rushes us before we get this loadout. Copy.
Already got loadout.
Yeah, dude, we got it. I don't know what you're gonna get. Like, it's right here.
Grimace House just got loadout.
Enemy UAV active.
Oh, come on. You can't. Little bitch. One's broke up there.
Yep, another one.
Down. They're not good. He just jumped out. I was focusing on the other guy and he came up behind.
Oh,
Like, they're really not that good.
oh. I need backup over here.
I'm down
Coming.
Got one dead.
There we go.
Yeah.
It must be next door. He
Oh, my tacticals.
he fucking ran hella far, bro.
You're losing ground. Move it.
I'm gonna get a UAV.
Allied UAV overhead. Hunt them down.
Top of Priz. Coming up the stairs on you, Orange.
I broke one. I need help. There's two.
UAV active.
Coming. Fuck, I'm wait here, hold on. Oh, fuck.
Yeah, I'll put that right there.
Oh. Oh, god damn it, I got stuck in the fucking poor ass bitch.
I thought you got up though, you are up there. Oh, I did
Yeah, but
not.
they came up the stairs.
Yeah. No, I feel ya.
Fucking.
Nice shots.
Fucking 17.
Oh my gosh. He's so broke.
Oh.
Damn.
Big guys everywhere.
You say so. Gas is closing in. Armored truck delivery.
Oh my god.
LZ have been designated by green smoke. Squad mates are all KIA. Until they redeploy. Reinforcements are on the way. Enemy UAV active. Enemy UAV active. Armored trucks entering. Be ready.
Taking my gun. What the
Are on
fuck?
the way. UAV overhead. Hunt them down.
Okay.
Oh my god, dude. Instantly fucking downed.
Behind me.
I'm full fucking plated and it, what the fuck?
You're back in the action.
Sorry for taking that kill, Hunter.
No,
I was
no,
just praying
that
for
was
it.
crazy, yeah.
I was just shooting and I didn't even know if I was hitting anyone.
Enemy UAV active.
Oh man, you are so bad. Dude, the Marco. Oh my gosh, this gun's insane.
Yeah, it is.
I gotta start using
Bounty
this.
target identified. Have a little fun, yeah?
Cybernetic rifle custom. Yeah, I'm gonna definitely use that. Bounty targets
Guys on the other side of the roof.
Yep, I didn't beat him. Right here. Load out, right by load out. There's another guy
Pushing
near
that.
the roof. Working by the rope. Oh, there's a guy working by the rope. He has his leg.
Broke one.
He's down there. Hunter.
Oh my gosh, yeah.
Good shots on him.
That was so dumb. I was like, what the fuck?
Good shot, bro.
Bounty target is
Yes,
down.
sir.
Marvelous. Reinforcements are on the way. Enemy radar jammer detected in your area. Time to cover your tracks. There's an enemy team hunting for you. Throw grenade.
Oh, he's just no, he's AFK. He's AFK.
Safe zone highlight.
Guys on the other side now.
Throwing frag.
Give us some down. Hey, they got laser beams.
Yeah.
They're pushing, they're pushing, they're pushing. They're pushing Taylor.
Boom.
Not even your kill and you're shooting me.
Surgeon window is about to close.
That makes sense.
Throw grenade. Break a few
That check. Whoa.
Reinforcements are
It's the business.
gas is inbound.
I don't ever leave home without it.
Mask down here.
Oh my god, he hit the ground fast.
Put it down there too.
No, homeboy's AFK, he just free fell.
No?
Enemy cluster strike. Watch your head.
There's stems here in the corner if you need them.
You can breathe. You lost the enemy trackers. Enemy dropping into the AO.
What?
Reinforcements disabled.
I'm hanging back in the gas because I got some people on me.
Is inbound. Marking
Yeah.
new safe zone.
Biggest gas play yet. Let's go.
How was it back there, Ghost? I seen you chilling over there.
Ah, it was worth the PDS.
Yeah.
Nice.
Guys in here for sure.
Yeah, I just seen one jump in there.
I got munitions on me. First floor prison.
Heard.
Tail.
Yep, the whole team upstairs.
Trying to time it.
Pushing in. No, I'm not.
All remaining.
Game.
Oh, wow.
Let's go.
Oh my god, he jumped to kill me and he broke his leg. That was hilarious.
Oh, I thought I killed the last guy because I just shot him and he died.
Babe, I was choking and I needed something to drink and I took a drink of that.
Good?
Yes!
I made it for you.
No, you did not.
No, I really do.
You did?
Alright, when you said, I'm coming in through the back.
And I almost choked even more.
I'm so sorry. Well, I didn't see none of that. But you can have it. I really made it for you.
Really?
Yeah. I made it when you said I'm coming through the back. I was like, oh shit, I was gonna make this. They turned the game off. What was your
I just want to see you.
greasy lips?
I
The fuck?
love them.
Oh. Right here.
Well, in a little bit, I'm gonna go pick up that little table, so I'm gonna hold off a little bit.
Okay.
And then this lady, this other lady, it's like a vintage side table that I want for my, I actually really want it for my bedroom. What?
That's what my mom used to do. She'd
What?
like go get shit and be like, oh, this could be for your room. Actually, I want it for my room. I'm like, what the fuck, bitch?
No, I
Where's
usually
my
give everything
phone?
to my kids. I don't know where you seen it. Where did you put it when you met up with me? I'm gonna call it.
No, I mean the remote. Did I say phone?
Oh, yeah. It's right there.
No,
Or what remote?
the smallest one. This fucking loser.
I know. That's why in my house you have to have spots because you're not gonna be everywhere. But it's like one of those old school telephone tables, you know? I love. I haven't had one of those in a while. But okay.
What the fuck, man? Fucking room is clean too, so where's it? Oh, it's right here. I'm sitting on it all the time. Jeez.
Blending in.
Way too watch.
We need to get you a remote dish. That's what I have in my house.
It's supposed to all the way right back here, but
For the table.
they keep forgetting.
This is the style, and this is mid-century. That's the green that I'm doing, but only on like accent wall, not the entire. Yeah, frame like that. This is actually a shower. This is for patio thing.
My name is Dave
So I
Torres.
have one
I'm
similar
a
to
former
this, but
police
it's
detective,
dark.
a current investigative author focused primarily on mysterious disappearances in the North American wilderness. My journey into the disappearances began when I was visiting a national park and was approached by two park rangers who knew I was an author. They described strange circumstances over the years involving missing hikers. I immediately began looking into the phenomenon. 8
Oh, that's the way
years
you talk about
later,
it?
I've now researched
I never heard of
all the
this
cases
before.
that fit the profile we are about to examine.
Yeah, bodybuilder.
While these cases
I've seen when
involve
they come out all
people
dazed and
walking
confused
by,
out of the borders.
I've chosen to present
Here.
some of the most intriguing cases involving hunters. Generally speaking, hunters are very experienced, aware, and knowledgeable outdoorsmen. And so when one vanishes, you know something unusual has occurred. One of the most perplexing cases I've examined involves a hunter named Thomas Messer, who in 2015 went missing in northeast New York. For people who don't know, the FBI doesn't investigate missing adults. There's a subcategory for the FBI that they can become involved and the disappearance of extremely young children under a certain set of criteria. So the million-dollar question is, why would the FBI arrive on Tom Messick's case?
Lily Palm Road. That sounds like a classic American
Where's
name.
that be on the East Coast?
New York. This is New York.
He loved the outdoors. He
There's
loved
woods
working
in
the woods.
a lot of people don't know, but there's
Hunting
a
and
big
fishing was his
vast
life.
woods in New York, in the state.
Right, like in the mountain part.
So like up towards the water and
Yeah.
shit, there's a lot of mountains. Like people report Bigfoot in New York mountains, and it's like it's really big compared to like Minnesota has a lot of woods, but this one is like longest distance width wise. You know what I'm saying? You can walk through it, but it's long. You know, in New York. But I mean, people see like.
Oh, I see what you mean.
Like people say they say, oh, we see Bigfoot, or like they say like, oh, there's reports of cougars, and there hasn't been cougars in the woods on that part because they're connected to Canada, like up top, you know. So like a lot of animals will come down into the states, but like, and they say like, oh, we see cougars. There hasn't been cougars in New York for like 100 years. They say, you know, like in Arizona, they're what do they call them? Like pumas or something? They're coming over the what do you call it? Like this natural like way that animals move. It's like this
Migration?
yeah, like this migration route. For some reason, like they're seeing fucking bears, cougars, pumas, all kinds of like elk going into Arizona. And it's crazy because how they have to get there is they have to cross this like 100-something mile long barren desert, and for some reason they're like making this trip to come into the states. It's like it's fucking crazy. I just watched it on Joe Rogan's podcast. Like this person that's a geologist down there, he's researching it, and he's saying like he's seeing tropical animals show up and venture into Arizona, and it's like what the fuck?
Created for that climate.
Yeah, but they're adapting. They're
Yeah.
like somehow adapting to it rapidly.
I've seen that.
Shit's crazy.
I've seen shows where they do that.
For about a week, every year, a bunch of guys get together and go hunting.
He taught hunter training for a long time. He probably taught every one of the kids around here.
No, he was a great guy. He was an old airborne ranger. He was unbelievable in the woods. He taught my hunting class. He did my hunting license. He taught survival.
He had gunpowder blow up in his face, and that's how he lost. He had like 159 stitches in his hand, and he lost his eye that way. So he would say to these kids, this is what happens if you're not careful.
He had a lot of issues over the years, but never really seemed to slow him down any.
So obviously he had one eye.
Yeah. He was sort of blind, it wasn't really that great, but he could actually see out of it.
And hearing, there was an issue.
Yeah, it wasn't that great for hearing, he had hearing aids.
And Tommy, the kind of guy that would drink a lot, or
No, he didn't drink that much.
They want to rule it out.
so did they, when you guys went hunting, did you guys drink when you hunt?
No.
And he's not seeing
He
things.
might have beer with us in the truck. Like come out of the woods, we might have a beer or something like that. Other than that, nothing excessive, you know?
How would you describe your dad's judgment?
It was good. In fact, he was probably one of his better days I've seen in a long time. He was good spirits and moving great. Didn't seem to even have an ache or pain in him that day. He was moving good.
Those some old,
Oh, he's the one
those
that's missing?
old wise men. Yeah, I think so. Those old wise men. Those are the people that like. That's like my uncle Chuck. Like
How do you think about it?
he is like, he's like mathematically smart. Like
That's
his
your mom's
father.
Or-
No, it's like our family friend that was friends with my grandma. But like ever since I was born,
Like
like,
family.
yeah, he's like
Yeah.
takes me out. He knows that like life was fucked up for me. So like on every Father's Day, I always say Happy Father's Day to him. Even though he doesn't have kids, but I look at him like a dad.
We're gonna go back
And-
and hunt around camp.
But yeah, like his father was a marine engineer in the shipyard that had like a 30-year career. He just retired like 28 years as a crane operator. Like one of the smartest people I have ever even like, personally got to talk to. Mathematically smart, history smart, like hunting smart, owns a bunch of guns and just I don't know, man. One of the smartest people. And he was talking to me about this, and he's like when he gets unnerved, it's like he's a one of the smartest people I've ever fucking met. He talks about this shit.
The old guy.
And he's like, man, there's
down
fucking
that road.
corridors out there and stuff. Yeah, like just recently the missing persons list is skyrocketed.
You know that there's a new
Fucking, people are literally disappearing.
No, yeah, you know that
Like,
there's a
and
new
I know
thing
one person.
that it's a trend now. You know that?
What?
That they're the Satanists.
I was the first watcher. I was the
literally
second.
opening up portals and
Go
they're
catch
not.
facility.
You know, back then it was like taboo.
Fucking
Just wouldn't-
voodoo.
Yeah, you wouldn't hear it.
one.
But my
We
kids
followed the trail
and my
along the lake,
nieces, they're
Come up that
teenagers,
snowmobile trail,
they were telling me
out
like
into the
what
woods,
they've been
swung up to
seeing on
a
the
slope,
internet, what's
hunting
like the
drive
trend
type
and
thing.
all of that. That there's a certain day that
The
they start
young
doing
boys
this, and
said
I-
to the
like
old men,
basically
"You
if we're
four
not
sit here,
participating,
and if we see any deer, we'll
they were
push them
just like
towards
tell
you."
me about it. So.
And if Tom was a watcher,
I'm sure
Tom
it's
would
only gonna
not
get
have
worse.
moved. I
Stuff
know
like
that for
this.
a fact. He was a watcher, that's where he was.
Did you see any deer?
No.
Did you hear anything?
I heard a strange noise in the woods, but I don't know what it was. It was a different noise than what I usually hear, you know?
Like what?
It's even hard to explain but it was different. Something different.
I gotta be up
I've never
at
heard
5
before.
a.m. tomorrow.
I just can't say what it was, you know?
How long in duration was it? Was it 2 or 3 seconds?
You
Oh,
can
it's
do
just
it.
second,
What?
whatever it is, you know?
They do it.
How far away was it?
I'd say it's probably
Do what?
50 yards, something like that.
Wake up early.
Was
Well,
it
I
toward
have to go to
Tom or away from Tom?
No, this was up towards the hill, top of the hill.
I'm staying at like motivation.
Did you tell the cops this?
Yeah, I told them that, but they just passed it off now.
The
report
report
said
said
the alarm
that
for
your
me?
dad was carrying a walkie-talkie.
Yeah,
Who else had one?
we all did.
All on the same channel?
Yep.
Stay.
Hmm?
Anybody ever hear anything?
Yeah.
What? When?
Did your dad know how to use it?
Yep.
Want me to stay?
I don't know what you're supposed to do all day.
Tell me about your day.
Okay. When you pick up your stuff?
Tom, you around?
It's one of those things where you should have been out by now.
Call. Yeah, we should have been sitting on the watch.
Well, I didn't know. I didn't know when you were
Start
leaving.
looking for him.
I would stay, babe, but I'm not comfortable here.
Anybody firing shots?
Yep, yeah, we fired shots.
I already know what she thinks of me.
Somebody went down and called the Rangers, and then we just kept looking.
Oh. Was there in the shed with the fucking bolt light?
Unless you want me to leave early in the morning when you leave.
If you want to, I don't care.
I just tell the kids I'll be here in the morning. It's up to you. I can.
They stayed overnight at the truck, beating the horn, firing shots, different things.
Just leave in the morning.
Bobby called me that night and said,
Yes, anyways.
Daddy's missing in the woods, but don't worry, we'll find him. And I said,
Just
"I'm
getting
coming up."
used to freaking waking up so damn
And
early.
I said,
I
"Well,
usually
don't
start
worry, we're
work
sure we're gonna find
2
him."
hours. Like I 5 a.m. to 2:30, If it's a long day, then it's 4:30. I
work
still
that
wouldn't
shit.
even be at work.
I know.
Yeah, at my other job.
The community is very close knit.
I'm getting used to
Everybody's
it.
pretty much grown up together.
I
knows
kind of
everybody.
like the other time only fucked up because of fucking the gates. There's like 5 gates. All of them
You know,
deep
it's
didn't
mountainous,
work,
we got
and that's what
lakes, we've got
the
lots
name of
of
the card is.
opportunities to
You have
enjoy
to
yourself. There's not a lot of
my
pressure.
chin, and they weren't working.
I came into work one morning and I
fucking-
noticed
You have to
the
be
state
I had to
police
call my
all
mom
got,
at 4 o'clock in the
had
freaking
to
morning
get
and
off
picking me up
and
at
town
7-Eleven,
hall.
taking me all the way
And,
around so I could show it to a
see
guard
some
and he could
rangers
just personally let me in.
in our parking lot, their vehicles
Yeah.
and different apparatus.
The fucked up part is literally there's a gate.
What was going on?
Shoot,
and
you walk
they
the
said
end of the
they
road,
had
2
police
minutes.
and-
Walk past the church, other side, there's a fucking gate right there. Like, it's like I was that close to getting in, and it's just like, fuck you.
So what time do you have to start?
I have to
We didn't know that when we
be
were up there. Is
on the ship at
people
6.
of, wildlife. You know, we didn't
So that's why you
see
need to wait about
squirrels,
5.
chipmunks,
Yeah.
deer.
How unusual is that for your mountains out here?
Thought it was strange. Like I said, we didn't see any signs of anything out there.
And how many people did Warren County commit?
We had our emergency response team up there, which is comprised of 13 team members.
So when you heard about it, what'd you do?
Go up there, join the search. You might figure it would be, go up there and we'll find them, it'd be over, you know? Air National Guard was going over,
9:30.
infrared, state police had helicopters.
Yeah,
with
fuck
guys.
them.
And that's not bad. Like
You
that's
call it
not
Black Panthers in Texas. What do you think?
They're called people that go to sleep that early.
No, the animal I was talking about earlier.
Oh, the Panthers.
Yeah. Yeah.
What did we
Did
say
you
it
have
was?
an experience?
Pumas?
Pumas.
Well, technically, that's also a
There
name.
is black
Last
Puma
night,
too.
Well, I think they're actually the same thing,
It was
just
a big
derivatives
black
of
cat,
different areas
like
you
a
live in. So, like if you live in
60,
Africa,
70
you
pound
get
fucking
the
son
jungle,
of
you
a-
call it a puma.
Well, I don't know what it. See, the thing about Texas
Us
real
Americans, we
is
just
more
black.
tigers in captivity in Texas than all of the wild.
But that's how we feel
Really?
here.
Because of like rich
Just
people
assholes.
wanting, yeah.
Just people just have a fucking fence. I want a tiger, and you can just have a tiger.
Yeah.
Because of freedom. Freedom, America.
Yeah,
Like
I get it.
zebras. Like my wife saw a zebra once. She was driving on the road. She saw a zebra. A fucking zebra.
Well, yeah, and fucking in down, like in New Mexico, Arizona and shit, people will literally like have like you will look in their backyard and see like a tiger.
Did you ever see that show when it first started coming out?
No, I
Exotic
refused.
animals?
Whatever the king, Tiger King or whatever.
No.
I was like, no. Everybody was talking about that
I
shit, and I was like, I
refuse,
refuse.
like
I am so that person that like.
I don't go with the trends either.
Yeah, I can't because I feel like I'm
You're
allowing
following-
myself.
yeah.
I'm allowing
You're
myself to be
being-
like
you're
millions
like
and
a
millions of
follower.
people. Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm like
I know,
I'm
I was
different.
like that too, but after it all blew over
Mhm.
and I was painting my son's room, that's why I remember it specifically. It actually was good.
Yeah.
And I told my kids, I should have.
What's that one fucking show where they play all the games? It's on Netflix. We're all waiting for the next season.
Games.
You know what I'm talking about, though?
World. Like celebrities.
No, it's like this. It's a TV show. Everybody is something games, right? Oh fuck! What is it called?
It's not the old school one, it's a new one.
Yeah, it's on Netflix. What is it called?
I know that there's a few of those, but I want to know the name.
Yeah. Oh my god! What the fuck? Oh, Squid Games.
Oh, never heard of that. Or maybe I saw the picture, but I never.
Yeah, Squid Game, like all the kids wearing the masks and stuff and shit. Like that shit was hella popular.
I never.
And then like I waited till like everybody died off to watch it, and oh my god, was it good? I didn't.
You know, me and my kids, I'm glad they're not like that either. Me and my kids, we don't care for the hype, but that was actually good. No, I was talking about, there was a show on TLC where
You
people
know,
would
like
buy.
these, there's two people people posting this stuff? Well, everybody was fucking for Halloween when this came out. Everybody was that, you know.
Pyramid.
Yeah, it was a.
Promoting for propaganda.
It was crazy good though. I felt dumb.
No, there was a show, babe, that like people would buy exotic animals and then some
Footage
of them
rather of the
would tell
jaguar
them like
that
their
they
crazy
found in
experiences of
Arizona.
regret.
Yeah,
That's really interesting
like,
too, right?
Amazing.
They're starting to make their way up from Mexico.
It's such a
Lost,
weird region
expensive,
that because
some of
here's
them,
this
like,
huge Sonoran desert that you think none of these tropical
big
animals can
lizard
make it
type of
across, and for
animal.
whatever reason, southern Arizona gets jaguars and cotamundi
Kind of
and
a
peccary and all these like
salamander type
tropical
thing, but
animals.
Yeah.
What the hell? I don't know the answer. What the hell's going on that all
Ate the
these rainforest creatures are making it through this 1,000-mile stretch
Like
of
the
desert
owner
in
got
southern
sick or
Arizona?
something like that and
Probably
passed
bored.
out and then they started
Could be.
feeding
Looking
on
for
it.
cool places to visit.
Yeah.
You know, maybe they. Maybe it's just like a.
Yeah, yeah.
That's really interesting too, right?
Amazing.
They're starting to make their way up from Mexico.
It's such a weird region that because here's this huge Sonoran desert that you think none of these tropical animals can make it across, and for whatever reason, southern Arizona gets jaguars and cotamundi and peccary and all these like tropical animals.
Yeah.
What the hell? I don't know the answer. What the hell's going on that all these rainforest creatures are making it through this 1,000-mile stretch of desert and into southern Arizona?
Probably bored.
Could be.
Looking for cool places to visit.
Yeah.
You know, maybe they. I mean, maybe it's just like a natural instinct to roam and expand your territory. There he is.
Yeah.
Look at that
God, that's
thing.
amazing.
That's
That's in
incredible.
Arizona.
So beautiful.
And it's
By it,
huge.
like
Huge.
living by it. That is bizarre. That is like.
Fucking.
That just shows how God
What's bigger,
created
a
animals,
jaguar or a
and
lion?
everybody thinks like, oh, horse can only do this, a horse can only do that.
But it's
And, or
such a beautiful.
these animals can only live
And
here,
apparently they were all
and
over
God
North
created
America.
them with
Jaguars.
brains. Like,
Yeah,
like,
that-
no, they
that
can
area
actually
during
withstand.
the
Arizona.
Pleistocene?
Like he says,
Yeah.
1,000-mile
I
desert.
didn't even know
That
that,
fucker
but,
walked all the way
When did
through
they-
a 1,000-mile
they were
desert
pushed
to
out,
push to
like,
somewhere
I
where
feel
it
like-
could get some a different environment.
I feel
And that
like
right
they
there
were-
is
they were
what, like,
more
why I
numerous
think, like,
Arizona,
how is God not fucking real?
Southwest.
Because some of
Makes
them
You know what I'm saying? His
sense.
creatures are
You know, we
fucking
have so
amazing.
much
I know, but
megafauna
it's
here
almost like
back in the
human
day.
too. Like
There would have
when you
been a
go
lot of prey
somewhere like
for
where I
them.
live.
Now,
why would I wanna
because of
be
the
there?
fact
I'd
we
be like
spend so much
everybody else.
time in
I could go to
the
school
wild
and be a nurse too,
and, you know,
and then I'll
you
have a
have
career,
this
but why do I
interest
want to be
in
there when
these,
I could be something
what would you call
somewhere
cryptozoology animals? Like
Well,
that's-
I'm not a crypto guy, so just to be
Right.
clear, and nothing against crypto guys, but I don't do
Not
Loch
nobody,
Ness or Bigfoot or
nothing like
anything.
that.
I'm a true wildlife biologist, so I only focus on wildlife. So, not to interrupt you, but I'm just very, very structured in the sense that I really only look for animals that we have an understanding of.
Right.
Like
Yeah.
science has
Right.
proven
Well, yeah,
whatever they're
the
doing.
Bigfoot one is the most compelling, but also probably the most bullshit.
I think there's a mix there. I think people believe that they've seen certain things. You know, it's. Do I think that there could have been large primates that we attribute to Bigfoot? Sure. Whether they're
Sure.
still here or not, whether people have ever seen them, I'm so
I
like not
believe
well
it's
read on that.
spiritual being
Isn't it
animals.
interesting?
Nah,
Yeah,
fuck no.
They-
Bigfoot is
If there
real.
was one,
Bigfoot
it would
is
probably
real.
be
There's
the
like
most
chimpanzees. When
spectacular
chimpanzees
find
die,
ever.
Absolutely.
they
Like,
drag the
yeah,
fucking
chimps,
body off, like
bonobo,
naturally. Like you ever
We
see
have
a
all
dead
these
dog
things that
and all the dogs are
There's so
around
much,
it
like,
dragging
more in
it
culture,
Like,
so
because they're they're doing a
Right.
natural
Not just
like.
Western
Spiritually,
culture, but like
I believe it's demonic. Let's put it that way.
No.
he's a
Because
big
God
hairy
made-
But
creature.
Bigfoot's not known for
Everyone-
hurting
everyone would
anybody.
be like this
God
mind
like native-
discovery.
Have you ever went and looked for the
What are you talking about?
No, I know what it is, but
Yeah.
no, never gonna look
They're,
for
they're
it.
short.
What do you
that's
mean? It's
Really?
called
They've got
Gigantopithecus. It's an
skulls,
actual
hair
name.
samples,
Like Bigfoot is
photographs,
real
and video.
on the sense of that it
People
lived
don't know what
hundreds
we're
of years
talking
ago.
about. Gigantic
They're just
chimpanzees,
thinking there's
right?
no way that it
6
still
foot tall
lives.
chimpanzees.
Like Bigfoot is like Bigfoot
It
is just
does
like
walk
the
around,
American
right?
name
Sometimes,
for
yeah.
you know
There's a
Loch Ness
camera trap
monster, but
photo. There's a
really
guy,
it was
Dr.
probably
Carl,
it's like this
Carl
special
Palmer.
name. It was like
Carl sometime?
it
Carl
looked.
Palmer.
It looked like a giraffe that had a whole
And he's
body
a-
cut off and had
he's a
fins.
Swiss
It's an
wildlife
actual
photographer.
animal that used to
Anyway, set
live.
up a bunch of camera
It's
traps
just
and
now
watch
when it
out
comes to like,
walking.
oh, we've seen it, so
It's
now we have to
freaky.
put an
There's some photos
American
of,
little
this
cute
gentleman that
gift
shot
shop
one.
name on it. You know what I'm saying?
New
Something that would
Hampshire.
sell,
Huh.
like oh Loch Ness Cafe or
Fucking
Bigfoot
huge.
Cafe,
Yeah,
like
how
around
big
Washington. You know what I'm
men
saying?
are.
Right.
They might be
Bigfoot
small,
is
and in front of
there
them,
is such thing
it
as a
is
giant
without
primate,
doubt
which
like one of the biggest chimpanzees.
gorilla
I've
is
seen.
the only one
Yeah.
left
They
called
have a
the
crest
giant
on
primate.
their skull has
There,
a crest
it
like
was
a gorilla.
one that was
Huh.
bigger
Yeah,
than
it
that
has
one,
like
and
the
it stood up
bony
most of the
skull
time.
has
most of the time when it would take off, it would go up all
Do you have a
fours.
picture of that? I'd
But
love to see it. I'm not
body
familiar with
structure
it.
was meant for it to be bipedal,
Yeah,
which
it's,
means that it was
it's
meant
really
to walk on
interesting
its
I'm not
feet.
saying
for
it
the
doesn't
longest
exist.
time.
What I'm
But no,
saying
like
is-
Bigfoot is actually
What
real.
I'm
It says
saying
there's
is-
no way that it
Okay.
could still be
I
alive.
think it was a
From a
really terrible
biblical
movie.
standpoint.
I know the
What I
movie as
believe.
well. Yeah, that's
You know
insane.
Nephilim?
Yeah, that's one
How
of them.
they
And
originally
that
got
doesn't look like
created
forced perspective. You know what I mean? It looks like they're right in front of them.
And that's one from the early 1900s, I believe,
When
where these
Lucifer
guys
fell with all those
shot
200
one.
angels,
And
they were
they were
attracted
like, what
to
is
humans and
this?
created
This is just
giants.
giant chimp. Go, see if you can
I
find
do
the one of the,
believe
there, right above
that
is the one
because of
where it's
that,
walking right there, yeah.
And the fall
Oh,
of
that's the
mankind,
camera
all
shot.
that,
Wow.
that there could be
And
other
he's
creatures
erect.
that
Yeah, he's
maybe
erect
they're
and he's,
not
you know,
how God intended.
these people that,
You know,
one
something got
of the
mixed
sightings,
along the
they
way.
saw one walk by a truck,
I believe
like
it's
walk across the
spiritual,
road,
I
they
don't
said
believe
it was
it's
the
an
same
actual
height as the
I
truck.
don't know.
That's insane.
So they have like, you know, like a Toyota Helix or something like
Right,
that, and
yeah.
it's literally
Not
saw
what
the
I
height, like a 6 foot tall man, but a giant chimp.
And I mean, you know, to go back to the Bigfoot thing, you can totally see where we get that from, right?
For sure,
You
yeah.
look at this huge primate that's the size of a human being, and your brain instantly goes, it's mythological.
And I'm pretty sure that they didn't
Exactly.
have photos of this thing
Exactly.
until the 20th century.
That was
Like
one
the
thing I
late
would
20th
die.
century.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's
And
amazing.
you gotta
That's
think
a trip,
about
man.
it, bro.
They nest on the ground.
I said it a billion times.
Yeah. Mhm.
Yeah.
Just this year
And,
alone, we
the
found that
locals have
new
two different names
Zimbiba
for,
chimpanzee.
chimps.
It's like the
They call
third
them tree leaders
third
and
smallest
lion
chimpanzee
Huh.
And
or
the tree
monkey
leaders
in
are
the
ones
world.
that are up in
And
the
we
trees,
just
smaller
found that
chimps,
Sure.
and
like
the lion
beginning
killers
of
are these big
like it was like
Big
during
ones.
COVID
Yeah,
time.
apparently there's
And,
some either
like-
video footage or
I mean, in a
there
sense, that's
was
a
some
fucking little
eyewitness
human.
account of
Well, that
one
we
that
just never
knew,
seen before.
a leopard.
Never documented.
No way.
So it was a dead leopard that they were eating, whether or not they killed it or they found it, but they were eating this fucking thing.
Regardless, like, to be a primate at the top of
Look
the
how
food
cool
chain
this thing
eating a
is.
big cat, I
You
mean,
can even
that's
take
nuts.
this can
It's
through.
nuts.
I wanna
Check
get
this
Did you ever
projectors.
think of going there and trying to find
Well, I
this
gotta
thing?
get
Fuck
an
yeah.
They're
extender.
deep in there.
Great.
Like a
Yeah.
router.
I think they're in a place called
Because in my
Benin,
patio, I
Benin
would
in the
need
Congo.
that.
That's where they think they are. They've
They already
isolated the
explained it to me,
population
so
of
it
them there.
doesn't reach
Really, my
my
mom
internet.
just got back from the Congo, and she still does like her own adventure stuff, and she was saying it's just like, she's been all over as well,
Yeah,
she's
you
like,
can-
it's mind
I know
blowing,
that
like
you
there's
can
so
get
much
router
remoteness in
extenders and like
unstudied
they like plug into
area
the
that
wall.
they're
You just have to
people
like go on your phone. It's like this little thing that you plug into your wall, turn it
Yeah, but
on.
they have to hardwire it too, they told me. Through the outside.
No, Google Wi-Fi
American
extender.
I have. I
You
think
plug
I
them
am
into the
gonna
wall,
try
you
to
download it on your
Website,
phone,
there's
and then
details about
you
the book.
put the
There's a
password in on
page
this,
where there are
and then
links
it'll
to the book.
just
And also the other thing I
extend
would
your
like
life.
They
to
were
take
trying
this
to say
opportunity
that
to
I
mention
can't
is
use
I'm
anything
in
else that's
America
not from
and
their
Canada.
company.
For the
But I'm
next
pretty
7
sure
Well, you
if I
months,
go on
can. They,
Amazon,
of course,
they're
they're
doing something like
told
they're
to
gonna
say
try to
that.
sell me.
Yeah, they have to
Something
upsell
like
you.
20
Of course, they're gonna say
But
that.
I worked at Best Buy and I used
But
to
that's
sell
like
routers.
that's like saying like
So I'm like,
I can only use the charger that came with this phone. You know, you know what I'm saying? It's like iPhones. Like you ever go to Apple store and be like, oh, I need a new charger. They're not gonna sell you one like a knockoff when they get out of gas station. Of course, they're gonna be like, oh, you need this one. Like,
Absolutely, I allow.
fuck, I don't even know where the fuck I got the charger that this one fucking plugs in on.
I think us an extender
Frankly
is
speaking, I'm nothing
Wi-Fi
without
is
my
just like
I owe my
wireless.
audience,
I don't
my
believe it
readers,
needs to be
big time.
hardwired.
And what I try
Yeah, I had
to
them
do
And
before
I
my
actually
house.
have a
Me and my
plug-in.
brother had one in his room and one in my room.
pictures with me, I am
And we would like unplug each other, like we'd
I don't
either
understand why, but
at
I would
school
love
or
to do
something,
that.
you'd unplug it
But
so it
it's
wouldn't
fun. It's kind of fun.
take it
I
that
would
way.
come to the best
My
part signing and
would be
ask you
stronger.
I
questions.
sold my,
But this
I
one-
sold my
Sometimes
stream though.
on the
and,
British book tour,
uh,
when I was finished, I was behind
projector?
in the event
You can
space
go
for
get
4 hours
matted
after
white
we
paint
finished.
to
Wow.
like you
Signing
can
and
YouTube it. You can make your
No,
own.
because
Like you say,
board
you
is-
have like
board.
a.
opportunity for me to interact.
I do it on my wall, so I
People
did
who
it on my
actually
wall.
make my work
Yeah.
matter. So
That's
Like there's
fantastic.
special like
So what
illumination
inspired
paint
this?
where like
I
show
know
up really well, like
there's-
different than
there's always
this.
been-
It's
But
like
I
has
believe
something in it
first
that
that
makes
would
say
it.
work
for people
only
who
if
don't
your
know,
wall is specific
You
to
have
that.
been at the front of the
But
line
my walls are,
for
there's a bunch
decades,
of windows everywhere.
Walls
talking
are busted?
about these
There's a
lost
bunch of windows
civilizations
everywhere.
and
You know what I mean?
what from reading your work, I mean, I think I first read your work in the 90s. You exposed me to a lot of these, what were at the time controversial ideas that have now been substantiated by actual evidence, particularly going back to Tepe and I mean, all the water erosion stuff on the Sphinx, and I've since had Dr. Robert Schock on the podcast to talk about that as well. But all this stuff was at one point very controversial, and now far less. I mean, whatever traditional academics, traditional historians that are trying to, this is archaeologists, that were trying to resist, they've let go a lot of that. They've had to with things like Göbekli Tepe.
They've had to because the evidence has overwhelmed them. And Göbekli Tepe is an excellent example. Prior to the discovery and excavation of Göbekli Tepe, which is a site in Anatolia in Turkey, it was the view, very firm view of archaeologists, that there had been no megalithic architecture anywhere on Earth. And when I say megalithic, I mean literally big stones, stone circles, huge constructions, nothing like that before at the very, very earliest 6,000 years ago. And they would point to sites in, for example, Malta, a site called Gigantia, which is about 5,800 years old. That's the oldest megalithic architecture in the world. And they could understand how that was because these were agricultural societies that generated surfaces, could free up people who could become specialists in architecture, in astronomy, in geometry, and they could apply their skills to the construction of these sites. But what they never...
Oh, I thought you were saying that was a Wi-Fi. I thought you were telling me that was a Wi-Fi document. I was like, babe, I think you're confused.
And then suddenly,
no, I've been thinking of doing this for a while. That's what I'm saying. I'll just like put a heart on it, put on my wish list.
Years ago, it's more than 5,000 years older than the supposedly oldest megalithic architecture in the world. And it is in the center where there had been no previous evidence of agriculture. But the moment the Göbekli appears, agriculture appears
bunch of
as
plugins
well.
that you
And this
can
is
connect
just something
everything
that's
to.
really hard for
That's why I like
archaeologists to explain.
going
They've
there.
suddenly
They got
got
it for a nice
5,000
setup.
years of missing.
Yeah, my uncle
history
has
that they
like
just
a
never
car
take
where
into
it
account.
comes
And what I
into
see
his
them
thing,
doing is largely
and he would
avoiding.
it'd be like, oh, it's from my car, like every time you go camping.
Getting to grips with
But now it makes sense
directly.
what it
And in
was.
fact, there have been a great number of changes.
I want to get one of these. Someone just sold one for $300. I want to put one in my patio this time.
Generally in
Yeah, I've seen those.
I don't want to do too much.
Well, I'm so happy for you
Walmart,
because I know that for a long time you were out there on
Someone
your own.
ordered it online
There are
and
a lot of
returned
these
it.
theories.
Very,
And
very
they
much
had
so.
discounted half off.
Also subjected to the most blistering and
If I had
deeply
extra money, I would've
unpleasant
I've been wanting a
criticism
hot tub for a long time.
from the archaeological fraternity
So
and
I have
from
a
their
really good
friends
area that's
in the
big
media,
enough,
like
like,
how
I
dare
wanna-
this journalist
If I could still
propose
do it, I
that
could
history
even
might
put
be different, or that we might
a
have a
boxing
forgotten
punching bag
chapter
in
in the human story. It was regarded almost as
I really
offensive
wanted
that I
to do
would
was
put this
fix up the
material out
garage,
there, and
but it's
archaeologists
just
felt
gonna
it was
be
their responsibility to show the public that I was
Seal
full of
it.
shit, and that was the whole way my work was greeted, and
My
it,
son
to a
was
certain
talking
extent still
about
is greeted by
insulating it with
archaeologists,
that
but
spray,
things have
but I
changed.
think that would cost
Central
a
to my
lot.
work was the notion of a
For the
global
time that I'm gonna
cataclysm,
be there.
roughly 12,500, 12,800 years.
Is it still out there? Dad, you see?
I've got to get my girls out.
We're in his territory now.
Beast, rated R.
That actually looks really good.
Finish my degree, I don't know. And they're like, do you want to be a nurse?
It's like it's an endless source of fascination. Like wildlife documentaries to me are just truly an endless source of fascination.
I mean,
Oh,
yeah,
so much
you
of my
preach to the
roles
choir,
are-
but yeah, I think they're phenomenal. There's just so much we can learn, and it's like, it's more than just what we learn. Oh, that's cool. That's a nice fact about an octopus. But we took how we shape jets off of the shape of birds. We've taken so much inspiration from nature into our everyday lives.
Look at this. Look at this.
That's what I want.
With skin.
Squid skin. So squid are
That
just,
shit's
oh my
crazy.
God.
Look at that.
It's like a television.
Yeah.
Like the pixels on a television.
Those
I didn't
things
know
are so
squid could do
smart.
that too.
Mm-hmm.
Whoa, this is so weird.
Look
Oh
at
my
that.
God. They're so strange. Such a strange animal. The ocean is so bizarre in and
Maybe
of
they're
itself.
creepy.
There's just so many
Like
weird
octopus
creatures in
and-
the ocean.
It's such an
Like, have
alien
you
environment to
looked
us
up
as
the
terrestrial
way that they
mammals.
eat?
Do you remember when the tsunami hit Thailand?
I
and
do
there was
know
all
that
these
the biggest
animals
one was
that
in
they were
Washington.
finding
Mhm.
that they'd never really seen before?
Mhm.
Washed up on
Yeah.
the
If
shores.
If you look
I
it up,
remember that,
look
yeah.
up
Yeah, they
the
were
biggest squid in the world lives under
There's a whole
the
website
cone area.
dedicated to tsunami,
Bridge.
deep sea
The
creatures.
biggest one
Oh,
ever
I didn't know
recorded.
that.
It's as
Yeah,
long as a
it's
school
really
bus.
crazy. some of these things that are living, you know, a fucking mile down under the earth.
You didn't know that?
What are you?
And they,
What do you know?
I forget what the number was, but they got like 30 or 40 new species.
A whole website dedicated to tsunami deep sea creatures.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah,
You know what
it's
it is
really
that
crazy.
I like to know
Some
about
of these
sea
things that are
creatures,
living, you
but
know, a
they
fucking
scare
mile
me.
down
Like,
under the earth.
when I was a
Like,
kid,
what
I
are
would
you?
watch
And
stuff
they,
on National
I forget what the number was,
Geographic,
but they
and it
got
just
like 30 or
scares
40
me.
new
Like, deep water,
species or something
like,
crazy like that. Literally like combing through the
sea
streets
creatures, I think
of
they're
the
pretty-
cities
I
where
used to
these
always
where the
think if I
tsunami
was
had hit.
faced with a whale
Yeah.
shark, I would
Is
die
that
of a heart
a
attack.
richer source of bioresources?
And I would like close my eyes while I'm in the shower and I was scared myself. So of all the things I would watch, I don't like deep sea animals.
See? The Narrows Bridge octopus.
In July of 1940,
Here?
in Washington State,
For real?
the Tacoma Narrows Bridge was opened for traffic. A suspension bridge which spanned the Tacoma
The biggest
Narrows
one in the
Strait
world.
and connected the Kitsap Peninsula to the city of Tacoma. Costing $6.4 million in grants and
I feel
loans,
like they
the
kinda
bridge
made
was
it like a
built
little
with the intent of making travel
replica of
between the two
San
Washington
Francisco
locations just
bridge.
that much easier for commuters.
That bridge rolled
Unfortunately,
back
as
in
a
the day.
joint result of specific architectural decisions,
Like back in the
made
day,
in
it
constructing
literally
the
was
bridge,
like this
as well
in a
as the
storm.
widening
Every time I
of
go
the
over, I go fast.
ring system in the area.
I don't wanna get
On
caught.
November
No.
7th of that same year, the massive suspension bridge, known by construction workers as Galloping Gertie
Yeah,
for its tendency
that's why
to buckle
people say
with
Galloping
the
Gertie.
wind,
fear.
galloped
Yeah.
its greatest.
Yeah,
in
that
its
happened
life.
during like
The
a
bridge would
windstorm.
collapse into the ice-cold
In Tacoma.
waters of the Puget Sound, claiming only one fatality. A dog named Tubby, whose owner, a Tacoma News Tribune editor named Leonard Coatsworth, was unable to safely retrieve from his car. In October of 1950, a full decade after the initial collapse, a replacement bridge was constructed where Galloping Gertie once stood, this time with thankfully more wind-safe design. Then, about 50 years later, a second bridge was constructed to accommodate
It's
traffic
amazing how
constraints on
humans
the
can
original.
do that. Like,
These two great suspension bridges
it's
now
like
run
so much
parallel
knowledge
across
has
the
to go
Narrows
into
Strait
making
and
that
have been
perfect.
accommodating the
You
travel
know what I'm
needs of
saying? So it
commuters
doesn't
for
fuck
many
up.
decades. But what became of Galloping Gertie after its collapse? Well, those components of the bridge that remained intact, such as cable
One thing that
and
pisses
power
me the
pedestals,
fuck off is that they
were
made them
salvaged
both
for use in the
completely
construction of
different
the
looking
replacement
than each other. You know what I'm saying?
And anyone
Like,
who
what
has
the-
steel components
what-
from the
that is-
railroad
it
will be
irks me
restored
every
to
time I
the
go over. It's
construction
like-
project,
it's
or save the
like,
scrap
why can't you
that
make
the
at least look like
ongoing
the other
war
bridge?
effort.
You know what I'm
You
saying?
can't
As
because
for
of
the actual
the
height
design,
of the
it
bridge,
wasn't
there
fit
really
for
wasn't any point.
Well,
in
no, yeah,
given
okay,
that
so
it was
they,
essentially
so
just
the
a
bridge
long
fell,
bit of
they made a
concrete.
new one, and
so
then
what
years
was left
later,
at the bottom
they
of
made
the
another
was
one.
to
So, I
build
mean, this one right
a
here, the old
massive
one, it's
artificial reef.
fixed.
As
It's a
time
better
went on,
design.
this reef
I'm just saying they
became
made,
Talking about the second one?
yeah, when they made the second
all
one,
over the
they made it
Puget Sound.
completely
You
look
sought out
different,
its
you know?
sheltering
Right, 'cause
crevices
of
and the unique feeding
the
opportunities it
specific
provided.
area
Given that currents through the
that they were
narrow
building
strait
on.
are particularly strong below the surface, animals living on this artificial reef can, much of the time, simply sit tight and have their food brought to them. This accommodates both
Crazy.
the reef's
Underneath
predator
there, there's
and
actually
prey
coral.
population, and has led to the formation of a thriving and notably biodiverse ecosystem amidst the wreckage of one of the largest bridge collapses in U.S. history. Throughout the decades following the collapse of Galloping Gertie, its wreckage has become a diving hotspot, favored by recreational divers and marine biologists alike.
Oh, you could
In the
go and
60s,
dive
it
and look
even
at the whole
became the
thing.
site
Like
of the
that.
world's
Imagine
first
touching that?
octopus wrestling
You
champion,
touch it,
in
history.
which participating divers competed to see who could wrangle the biggest Pacific octopus from the reef. The championship was a one-off event, as sentiments towards wrangling octopuses from their caves and dragging them ashore for entertainment have imaginably changed in more recent times. But it is a pretty strange and funny piece of Washington history that I'd be kind of remiss for not mentioning when talking about the Narrows Reef. Suffice it to say, the reef has become a significant cultural landmark in western Washington for its unique biodiversity and fascinating history. And just like any good watery landmark, Gertie's remains are claimed by many to be the stomping grounds of a monster.
Those stomping grounds. He's like, yeah.
If I was in the water and I seen
For
that, I
nearly
would
half a
probably,
century
I'd shoot
now,
myself in
urban
the head
legend
because I
has
couldn't.
circulated that
I don't want to
these
ever
Gertie
see that
remains
thing in the water.
are the home of
I
a
would
massive
I
literally,
would not want to.
God would know, okay, take my soul right out. Just,
At around 600 pounds,
I wouldn't be able to handle that.
tentacles anywhere from 20 to 30 feet long, this octopus has come to be known by locals as the king octopus, for pretty obvious reasons. Nobody can
daughter,
prove
Melody,
that they've
she'll-
encountered it
she'll,
or that it
watch stuff
exists
like this
at
and she'll
all,
tell me
but
all
likely
the
due to the
facts.
concept
Like,
just
she
being
has
so
such a
damn
sharp
off-putting and at the same time not terribly implausible. The idea has grown over time from a rumor to a full-blown urban legend. The king octopus myth has inspired local artists to erect sculptures depicting this mammoth creature. It was also the catalyst for an inundation of giant octopus and merchandise in surrounding curio shops and tourist hotspots. Editing note, I know I said inundation and then I showed a picture of 3 t-shirts, but trust me, back when I used to live in Washington and stuff and visited like these shops because I was super into like the Alligator Man shit. I remember seeing so much more merchandise than I could find examples for online, so sorry about that. No, it's not a big deal. I just kind of laughing at myself right there. Anyway, back to the video. And it even managed to lend itself a spot as the 10th wonder of Tacoma. Not an insanely noteworthy distinction, I know, but it just goes to show how well known and ingrained in the local culture this theoretical octopus has become over the years. Now, admittedly, the Narrows giant octopus is talked about more in a tongue-in-cheek manner nowadays than it once was, because the idea of sea monsters has steadily fallen out of fashion as our understanding of marine biology has advanced. But for some, the idea still holds water. And honestly, the more I look into how big Pacific octopuses can get, the more I kind of have to agree, at least to an extent. The main reason why I believe that there could theoretically be, or could theoretically have been, a massive 600-pound octopus living under the Narrows Bridge is because the species Edophleni, or the giant Pacific octopus, possess a very unique physiology and a specifically remarkable growth factor. In researching the topic, I came upon multiple sources which claim that the 600-pound giant Pacific octopus was discovered washed ashore near British Columbia. And while I can't find any solid
because they used to have a competition
judging by the
who could bring the
adaptability
biggest,
and malleability of the octopus,
biggest octopus on board. That's like what he was just talking about. So like they used to have like this competition where they would go dive and grab octopuses, and whoever had the biggest one won.
Like much of a reach
And they said that one got a group of people with an exam or something seen one
what
that
constitutes
was
the best possible environment
like
for a giant
yeah,
Pacific
that was like
octopus? Specimens
big
of
as like a
Edophleni
truck or
are
something.
a
Like
fairly
that, you know?
deep, cold,
And they're like,
and
yep. And then that's when
nutrient-rich
like they
as a
stopped
solid
doing that.
base
'Cause
form.
that-
Although
everybody was
being an
scared. Now they
octopus
go underneath the
species,
old.
they're really good at adapting to most other marine environments.
But like how they were
with smaller specimens often
explaining
being
that
found in
also that
Arizona.
giant Pacific octopus is one of the only octopuses that doesn't have like it will grow until it dies.
Because their bodies are so malleable that provided their beak can fit through space, it's reasonable to assume the rest of their body can as well. So from the jump, if it's cold enough to accommodate the octopus and there's an ample supply of nutrients in one form or another, then it's a great spot for a giant Pacific octopus to call home. But now here's the really cool part. The growth rate of Edophleni and then most other octopus species is remarkably high. On average, a specimen of Edophleni will gain nearly
Edophleni.
Hey, how's it going, dude?
We're here. We did it.
We did. We're both alive.
First of all, congratulations on your thinness.
Oh,
You
thank
look
you.
slender and healthy. You look good.
Oh, thank you. I appreciate it. Turns out running away from my children for 4 months straight will do that to you. I literally took up running just to get away from my 3
Really?
children.
Just
oh,
go
yeah.
outside just for some mind
Well,
space.
it's LA, man. You can't get outside unless you're actively exercising or they come and arrest you. Oh, I could allude to football. Right? Then
That
would-
is
would-
true.
Do you run with a
Because
mask
if
on?
you dress
No. Does anybody yell
athletic
at
and
you?
you're walking
No.
outside,
What do you
that's what I
do?
told JJ. I go, no one's
No, I
gonna
literally
bother
just
you.
run around on
But
the
if you're
streets.
wearing
Hoping
wearing
that
regular,
one
my
day
son
I'll be
had long
hunted
hair.
down by the rioters.
I hit him up.
So I don't have to go deal with my children screaming at me. But yeah, that's the goal.
Did you try to get healthier when COVID hit? Like, were you worried?
A little bit, really wasn't bad. It was just I was eating out too much, and when I was relegated to home, it was like I had to learn how to use the barbecue, which I had never learned
There
how to
was
use
a mom
barbecue.
that was
All
doing that
Seattle.
to her
And then it
kids.
turned out it was actually not that hard. So I don't know.
But like, we're a very small town, and for something like that to happen,
Are you
it's just
barbecuing right now?
Yeah.
They're Hispanics.
Well, I have
That-
to
that-
do
that-
kosher, right? So I have to.
Cartel
I'll actually,
pushed it off.
well, I have to go get the
Cartel,
alcohol. I have to actually control myself.
Is that
get
what
rap
you
out
have
of
to
it.
There's
do?
a lot
You
of
have to
people
get
don't
to
fucking
elk, and then
understand.
you have to slice his throat or something like that?
Oh yeah, it's
Only
good
that,
times.
people that want
But how
drugs
do-
are willing to
what's
do
the
jobs
logic
for the
behind that?
people that
So, I
want
mean,
what they want.
Not to get too fast into
Sell
biblical
guns,
stuff,
drugs,
but the original
sell
logic was
females,
that
they
you were
sell
supposed
bodies,
to
they
kill
sell-
the animal and
they'll
most
cut
of
you
the
open
the
in a-
idea.
Yep.
Now, do I know?
Cut you
They'll put
open,
drugs in you.
cut you
Almost
open,
certainly not.
fucking take your kidneys out, staple you back up,
Because you
put you in
Sell
a
it on the black
Yeah.
market,
Yeah.
stuff for your
Yeah.
Like,
body.
there's a
with
documentary I
drugs.
was watching the other day where they get hella ice, they
Going
put it
through
in
the
this
throat
bathtub,
would have been
they
the most
drug you,
unique way,
then they
because
go
it's
pick you
almost
up,
painless.
cut you
And then the
open,
blood
grab
just
like your
sort of
kidney,
pours
your
out,
bladder,
and it's wrapped.
or something,
You don't want the blood
and
anyway.
literally
Blood,
staple
blood
you
infusions
back
and
up,
stuff.
and then
Yeah,
throw
yeah,
you in
yeah.
the bath.
So what do you do when you have a medium rare steak?
But like before they get the
They use
person,
salt
they
steak
put his
oil.
body, make
This
him
is why
hella
kosher- this is why
cold and
kosher
stuff,
meat's pretty salty.
so they can.
So if you go to a steakhouse,
What?
are you allowed to go to a steakhouse?
Kosher
Okay.
steakhouse. There are kosher steakhouses.
God, you're so deep in that
I
world.
know, man.
But you're a logical, intelligent guy. Because part of every now
Okay,
and
I
then,
can juxtapose this.
but does every now and then it fuck with your head and like, what is this?
I mean, of course.
Oh my god, do you want to marry me?
When
That's what
people,
they're-
when people try
I
to
know there's
flirt
a
with
religious
me,
person alive. I mean, who doesn't
I
naturally
either
go
can
like,
be
okay,
like
a little weird,
super
but
weird,
alright.
or I can
You got
be
to
so-
embrace the system.
But you feel like
just so happy
for
to catch me on a
tradition
good
and
day.
for just the whole Jewish
All the other
culture,
times
it's
he had
worth
a
doing.
child.
Exactly. I mean,
The
you,
other guy, he's
you
real
live the
cool, just
lifestyle.
re-
And I feel like
chit-chat,
it ain't
you know?
that big a sacrifice to eat at particular restaurants.
Oh,
Restaurants are
okay,
still,
oh my God.
they've still got good kosher restaurants.
One thing that we're seeing with society and culture in general, and one thing that sort of does support the idea of maintaining these sort of rigid disciplines, is that when things start to slide just a little, you lose like these little incremental steps. They slide, and people go, "Oh God, what's the big deal? What do you care?" And you're like, "I see where this is going. Like it's going down that way. This is not going to stop. It's sliding."
Oh yeah, and you saw it in L.A. I mean, I've lived in L.A. my whole life, and the move from L.A. being a pretty safe, fairly nice city, suburban in orientation, to just overrun with horror shows is really. It was a lot faster than I thought it would be, but it's sort of you're right. It's a gradual decline, and then it's just off a cliff.
Well, you started to see tents, and you didn't see them at all for decades. And then all of a sudden, I started seeing tents. I remember I was doing Fear Factor in Skid Row in the early 2000s. We would film down there, and I'd be like, "This is crazy. Like, has anybody seen this? Does anybody know this?" Because there was these homeless streets. Like, you would go down these gigantic, and downtown LA back then, for people who don't live in LA, you think, oh, downtown's like downtown New York or downtown Cleveland. No. Downtown LA was a no man's land.
Nothing's going on in downtown LA.
It is now. Like, there's, well, was pre-COVID. It was like, there was some bars, and there was some really cool upscale apartment buildings. It was kind of picking up. But I took my family there before COVID, like 4 months before COVID or so. We went to, we were gonna go to, there's a famous donut place there. So we said, just one of those goofy Sunday things, like, what do you guys wanna do there? Let's go get donuts. So we went to downtown LA, and like, holy shit, literally shit, human shit, on the streets. Everything smelled like piss. Bums everywhere, and I'm like, okay, stay close to me, stay over here. If anybody comes near you, move closer to me. Like, Jesus Christ, like, this is crazy. Like, I don't want them to be freaked out, but I'm like, this is nuts.
Well, the thing is that sort of disaster area stuff in LA was sort of localized, right? It really did. Like, I worked in the LADA's office for a summer when I was in law school. It's been like 2007, so it's a while ago. And I remember they had a giant tent city, and you had to walk from the car. They made you park a mile away and walk it, and so you're walking through Skid Row. And it's like, okay, well, this is really terrible, and honestly, I feel bad for these people, because I don't think the best solution for people who are drug addicted or mentally ill is to live on the street. And a heavy percentage of people who are homeless are drug addicted or mentally ill. But, you know, for people who are living in the suburbs, like, this is at least localized. It's not like reaching into your life. And then over the past 13 years, like, I live in a pretty decent suburban area. I've seen like open needles on the street. Walked out of my house one day, there's just a guy lying face down in the gutter like Edgar Allan Poe. Like, and I thought, well, this is falling apart rather quickly.
What do you think caused the slide or the expansion of the slide? Because I agree with you that it was very isolated. Skid Row was very isolated. Downtown LA was I remember one time we were filming in downtown LA, and we were on a gurney, or I guess that's what are those things called where it lifts up?
Oh.
Anyway, we're filming some Fear Factor stunt, and as we got up, we could see people smoking crack. And I go, oh look, there's people smoking crack right there. And the guests on the show, like a lot of them, they fly from all over the country. They're like, is that real? They're really smoking crack? I'm like, that's crack. That's a homeless person smoking crack. Welcome to LA. It's right there. But I didn't feel bad about it. I felt like, look, it's unfortunate, but this is not like indicative of all of LA. We're just in a shitty spot because it's really cheap to film here.
Right.
So here you go. You got a little gift. You get to see some weird shit while you're here. But I didn't think it was ever going to get to the point where you're on like Winnetka off the 101,
Yep.
and there's 80 fucking tents, and they put a porta potty there. They put a porta potty
Hey,
there.
we're
for the
doing
homeless people.
real building and real development here in Los Angeles. Not apartment buildings. We got some porta potties. We put every underpass shall have a porta potty, thanks to Mayor Eric Garcetti.
You pay attention to politics far more than I do, and law enforcement and all that. What happened? How did it get to this?
Well, on this particular problem, this actually started with a bunch of lawsuits. So the LAPD used to have the authority to move people's shit if it was on the sidewalk. Or if people had a bunch of stuff that was on the sidewalk and they're just camping out there, the LAPD could come, they could take their stuff away, and they could rouse them, or they could arrest them for trespass, or for loitering. And then the ACLU actually sued, and they said that this is a violation of people's personal property.
Oh,
and the courts,
you do such good work sometimes.
and the courts ruled that you actually are not allowed to move people's stuff, that that's actually personal property, even though it's in a public area. And then they got a ruling from a court that you're allowed to live in your car, because for a while you weren't allowed to live in your car, and then it was you're allowed to live in your car. So now you're basically allowed to leave your stuff on the sidewalk, and the police are not allowed to move it, and you're allowed to live in your car. And then there was this sort of equity movement that said, okay, well, they do it in business districts, but why can't they do it in like more suburban areas? Why can't they just move into nicer areas? After all, if there's misery, it should be equally spread across the city. And that's kind of what you're seeing. I mean, there have been so many breaking points over the last year in the city, and for me and my wife, I mean, we looked at the rioting, and they shut down the entire city at 6 p.m. It's a county of 12 million people, and they shut down the entire county so that douchebags could run around shattering windows, pretending that they were standing up for social justice. They shut down Beverly Hills at 1 p.m. They shut down Rodeo Drive at 1 p.m. so that people could run up and down Rodeo Drive talking about how capitalism sucks while tweeting from their iPhone.
While stealing Nikes. You know, there was two moments where I was like, this is a real opportunity for us to come together. And one of them was the moment the lockdown happened. It felt to me very similar to right after 9/11, where everybody was confronted with their own mortality. Like, holy shit, like we might be on the verge of a pandemic, like in a movie, where a lot of the people we know die. And here, we have to be kind to each other. We have to, you know, this is what's important. Family's important. And I remember thinking, I've never been closer to my family, never been closer to my friends. We were calling each other all the time. It was like, there was real hope in that. I was like, when we get through this, we're gonna be tighter. We're gonna know what means something, what counts. Fuck stand-up comedy, fuck everything else, man. What's important is love and friendship. Then it started to get angry. And it only took like 3 or 4 weeks where people started getting, like, they were scared, so people started getting shitty with each other online, and then I basically swore off Twitter.
Yep.
I was like, this is just too toxic and too hostile. The second moment, once I had the opportunity to come forward, was George Floyd. So George Floyd died, and all of a sudden, you have these Black Lives Matter protests, and I'm like, maybe we can finally make a dent on racism. Maybe we can finally make a dent in police brutality. Maybe this is a moment where we can come together and realize what's important. It's community, solidarity, that we're all in this together. Like, this is great. And then the cops need to be reformed. Like, they can't live like, and maybe we should take into account PTSD. Maybe we should take into account the fact that these fucking guys are pulling up on people every day that might shoot them in the face. They might never be able to see their family and their kids. Let's rework this. Let's think this shit through.
Yeah.
Nope. Then chaos. And then all of a sudden it became like what we saw yesterday, where they're breaking into Amazon Clothes in Seattle. Like, that fucking guy owns the Washington Post. You know, it's the most right-wing newspaper in America. And you're like, not good enough.
Well, you saw this at like 50 years ago outside of Bezos' house in Washington, D.C. And it's madness. I totally agree with you, by the way. Like, when COVID happened, I thought, I can't really see how we're split in terms of fashion over this thing. Like, everybody wants to live, and everybody would also like to eventually get back to regular life. And the better we can live, the better we can get back to regular life. So it seems like, okay, we're on board. When it came to the lockdowns, the original lockdowns, I was like, okay, I'm on board. You know, I'm taking this thing really seriously. I've got parents in their 60s. I feel like, you know, I'm in good health. I'm fairly young, 36. But for my parents, I don't want my parents getting this thing, and so we're still taking these things real seriously. And I'm still wearing a mask around the workplace. practices, and I think people should. And that's a responsible thing to do. But it immediately turned into, who can we blame for this? Who can we blame? Who's doing it wrong? And it seems like there were only like a couple of things that you really can do that are obviously wrong. Like nobody has a good solution on this. Like it ravaged Italy, it ravaged Spain, it ravaged New York. Like there are a couple things you shouldn't do. Don't take the olds and send it back into the nursing home. I mean that's like an obvious one. But beyond that, like just staying away from each other and socially distancing, like this is all kind of commonsensical stuff that people have known since the pandemic began in 1918. Nothing has really changed. And yet it immediately turned into, who can we blame? Who's to blame for all these things? Maybe it's Ron DeSantis, or maybe it's Cuomo. Who can we blame? That's terrible. And then on the point stuff, I had the same feelings. I don't know a single human being who watched that tape and didn't think, okay, that guy deserves to go to jail. Shot him. Or the officer in that case. Everyone I know, every single person was like, yeah, that's real bad. Cops. Like I know tons of cops. I know tons of cops. And not one of them was like, yeah, that's good police procedure. I'm glad he did that. Like no one thought that. And so when people were like, okay, we're going to look at police brutality, maybe we'll take a look at qualified immunity, maybe we'll take a look at police unions and the kind of restrictive covenants that they have in cities and how we make sure that everybody knows who bad cops are so they can't get hired in different places. Like all those are solutions. But it quickly turned from, well, we don't want to talk about solutions. Solutions are a bad idea. What we need to do is we need to shout about everything we can possibly imagine all at once. And you know what? Instead, let's have a conversation about like, was George Washington a bad guy? Let's have a conversation instead about like just completely defunding the police. We're not like a responsible conversation about things that make sense. We'll talk about like what if we just got rid of the police? How about that?
That discussion, when people really say we defund the police, I'm like, who would have to do that? They're going to realize. And I think they're realizing it now in New York City. I mean, New York City has had record crime, record homicide. Who would have thought? Who would have thought? bullshit in your diet. Start taking vitamin supplements. Get outside. Get some vitamin D. Get your body healthy. Exercise. Do all these things, and you will increase your immune system. You increase your body health. You don't have to worry that. All of it is just stay inside. Why? You know, we have to stay apart to keep everybody safe. God,
Yeah, the number one vector of transmission remains the home. Right? That's still the number one vector in every society is the home. People going home and giving it to each other. And when I remember, for me, one of the breaking points in LA was when they decided they were going to shut down all open areas. They were going to shut down all the parks. They were going to shut down all the beaches. And I was like, what is this?
no,
What
that
is
goes
this?
against science.
Right.
There's papers that have been studied that show that this virus dies almost instantaneously when you're exposed to sunlight or even artificial sunlight.
Yeah, none of it makes any sense, but it does feel like, bottom line, there were a bunch of gaps in American society, and then a bad thing happened, and everything just sort of fell apart. It was sort of like a house of cards, and then there's a little bit of weight right on top of the house of cards, and everything just collapsed in on itself.
People are panicking, they're getting scared, and then the economy's collapsing. So the economy collapsing at the same time as the George Floyd protests led people to start moving. And then people that didn't give a fuck about George Floyd or Black Lives Matter were just stealing shit. And then the police was letting them steal shit. They were standing down in Beverly Hills and Santa Monica, literally cops standing there. And people were
I gotta say, the media coverage of this stuff is just awful. The media was cheering this stuff on. They were simultaneously making two arguments that conflict with each other. One was, these are mostly peaceful protests. First of all, mostly peaceful is the most loosely defined, arbitrarily applied term in history. O.J. Simpson was mostly peaceful then. O.J. Simpson was mostly peaceful then. For like an hour 15, it was really not peaceful. But for the other hours between sunset and sunrise, it was unbelievably peaceful. Like, I've never heard this term before, where a protest turns into a vast riot. You have to all Melrose, and everybody's like, well, it was mostly peaceful. Well, what is that? What is that? So how about either say that the protesters and the leaders are equal to people? Oh, drinking different. If you're protesting, that's First Amendment activity. And maybe shatter a store when they do it. Right? Perhaps you might should run. Or, alternatively, if you're saying they're the same group, then they need to be treated as one. So, I would feel protest very people. If it's going for a leader or a rioter, then you should go to jail. But the media refuse to make that distinction, and then they act like the cops are the bad guys when they come in to arrest people or violating license in Portland right now. They're on every damn courthouse. And the feds come in and start arresting people. And people are like, this is the Gestapo. It's like, okay. Speaking as border patrol, let me say, this is not like the Gestapo. Okay, like, the Gestapo is not famous for rolling up on people and then charging them, and then thinking how to solve policing. That wasn't like the Gestapo's thing. I'm sorry, but you decided you wanted to throw a firebomb at the federal courthouse, and your local mayor said he wasn't going to let the police do anything. And so DHS came in and arrested you. Tough shit. I mean, like, I'm sorry, that at some point somebody's got to restore some semblance of order.
Well, it's a weird situation because I don't exactly understand why they're attacking the workers. I don't exactly understand why they're smashing the windows at Amazon Go.
It's Steve Martin, right? They must hate these paint cans. I think from the jerk, right?
But it went from this to literally tear down the structure of society.
Well, this is where we get into sort of the deep philosophy point. And this is actually really the biggest problem right now on the racism point is the shifting definition of racism. So I had the unfortunate experience of actually reading one of the best-selling books in the country, Robin DiAngelo's By Your Children. And let me just tell you, a greater power worship has never been produced by a family of racism. It is involved, and it is basically rooted in the same theory as one thing is racism. It is a definition of racism. So racism, you're discussing racism. And the way I find racism, probably the same way you define racism, you believe in the inferiority or superiority of a group based on race. Of an individual based on their membership in that group. Right? That would be racism. But I believe that you're inferior or you're superior based on your race. End of story, right? That's racism. So Robin DiAngelo and Ibram Kendi redefine racism to mean that any societal structure that results in a racial inequality is itself racist. So any structure that results in a not exact proportion between whites and blacks, which are racist. Exactly. The answer is yes, except for that. The NBA is not racist because obviously you have a black people, right? And the NBA is not racist except it's because it's a meritocracy. The reason the NBA is not racist. But Robin DiAngelo and Kendi both suggest that meritocracy is an aspect, right?
So like a little speeder. I didn't know if y'all was a couple or not, you know what I'm saying? But that's good that y'all a couple. So how long y'all been dating? I guess 3 years. 3 years? How y'all met? How did y'all meet?
I was at the beach one day in South Carolina, and he was a tourist, and we just came.
With that fatty man. Right, so how did you DM her or you actually talk to her in person that day? I talked to her in person. I got Instagram, and then PM, Chris, and hey. So you trust her? Got you. Stop the cap.
System, and so it justifies that sort of stuff. This is why you saw Nicole Hannah-Jones, the de facto editor of the New York Times, 1619 Project Lady, tweeting out that she appreciated that people were calling these the 1619 riots. Because once you say America is rooted in slavery and rooted in evil and a terrible, horrible, and very bad place, then robbing a shop is just the latest iteration of you fighting the system. Explaining the 1619.
Trust him? Sure. So give me a good reason why you trust him.
I know he don't be pulling on her.
Why you said that? Why you said that? Come here, man. Why you said that?
Yeah, I just know he don't be pulling on.
Why you said that? Man, watch out. He's real pimp right here. All right, give me a good reason why you trust her. She look like a lawyer at thing. She gonna do it. I bet, and it's been like 3. You said it's been like 3 years? Oh, 3 years. I bet, so basically today, right?
Yeah, I came back home a little drunk last night.
He's pissed. What's he doing? Oh, look at you in your future house. Rub it in wide up. What the hell is that gun? Oh, in the cat's. Where's the watch gun? Is that waterproof? It's got touchscreens on. Oh my god, I need a house like this. Hang your coat up. That fridge is beautiful. Oh, strawberry. What the hell is that? What's that supposed to? Does that purify them? Is that a chopping? No, this guy's got money. Is that a chopping? This makes all company.
That other guy didn't respond fast enough. But I like it for like a little entry table where I can throw my keys and stuff and enter my locker room. Warm. He would tangle himself and he was stuck up there. He would have jumped, he would have choked himself. You don't want to go to a park?
So you wonder how you blow $15 in 2 seconds? You shoot a CMMG 5.7 upper in full arm.
We bought 100 of the creek. If you telling everybody so y'all all day going down, ripping down. I don't give a fuck what he's doing. He ain't touching you. He ain't touching you. Y'all got a whole committee over there to purchase right now, right? I don't care what you're doing. One-on-one what? This is the what? One-on-one what? Now whoop his ass. Now go. Go. Now who invests my son and says something about if he hurt who? If he hurt who gonna do what? Get your moms on the phone. Every last one of y'all. Y'all all over here. We're just here hanging out. Fight. Let's go. I know not you. Let's go. Go get your ass, big sir. Go get your ass. Yeah, nigga, he broke his mom. Now get your mother here. And she better be about that shit, cause I am. Look at that. Yeah. And I don't want you over here bothering my motherfucking son. Nah, y'all all on here on my face. Get out my face. I'm not your face. Y'all all over here keep waiting on my son, right? You got your phone now. Son got into this box. So, if my son, if I yourself, but it's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. mom. Go get your mom. Call his mom, dog. Call his mom. Nah, cause you ignorant. Nah, mom, shut up. No. Yeah, he did. Yeah, he did. The right thing to do. Bring his mom. You got everybody in by it. That's like my shit. So, and then you got your mom. Let's fight. Nah, I am. You got your friends here. You got your friends here. Yeah, yeah, you got everybody inboxing them. Yeah, you talk too much.
You base what you're trying to do on the parameters of the rules and the people that you're competing with. So that's how you look at it. So whatever culture you're from, you walk into this new thing with a very rigid set of rules.
I don't know white people or Jews or Asians have a monopoly on valuing education or monopoly on hard work or punctuality or anything. I think black people have exactly the same capacity as any people of any other race to do all of these things, and those are the preconditions for success. You either meet them or you don't. I mean, that's true for everybody.
But don't you think that a lot of that is predicated on the environment that you develop in and the people that you're around and the lives that you imitate and the influences that you have around you? Someone has to do something to influence those kids in a different way. But I was very fortunate when I was young that I discovered martial arts. And
There's a lot of rice, too much. There's even ants in it. You see ants?
Ant?
Yeah, ones. Alright, come check out this pool late last week. I had someone message me recently and they basically said, you know, you're not a real ring maker. You just have the materials out with the machine. Let me show you something. This right here is about $200 a gold. Okay, I marked it at about 2.35 inches. The cut isn't completely straight, but since I'm not a real ring maker, it's kind of expected. I have some special bending pliers to bend it to shape. The ring is bent, and we have the seam right there. I have some soldering paste on the weld. Now it's time to solder it. Now the ring is soldered. We're good to go. It's a little warm.
At a certain point, if we want to lose the weight, we've got to figure out a way to lose the weight.
Now we hammer it to shape with this ring mandrel. Now this gold is going to go inside of this ring.
Totally true. And that's why, again,
we're going to cut the outside shape so when we're going to
gold with a lot of the opportunities that you can provided by education, getting people to be educated outside of the local school.
When I was in high school, when I was in school, I got molested by a guy with Down syndrome. Why'd you laugh? It's just that's what such a.
But this has to do with the original conversation. You know, this has to do with telling kids that you're an evil person.
If you smile, hold on. Hold on. Give me a second. I will need to check. Hold on. Kevin joking. That's his name. All right, that's not his name. Yeah. What's your name again? Chin. All right, give me a second, though. Give me a second. I just wasn't ready for that. I understand. I'm gonna say it again, and if you smile, I'm gonna leave. Well, go. All right. Hold on. We can.